Welcome to another episode of Nourish the Mind, where this program speaks about the mind, the body, and the spirit, that all three works together to bring us into alignment. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and I hope that you'll find it interesting and stay. And if you have been with me for a while, thank you all for your continuous support. So on this week's topic, we're going to speak about some key points in some very motivational and inspirational books. The last couple of videos I spoke that I will be taking out some key points and I'll be sharing them. So this week we're going to jump right into the video and we're going to speak on this book. It's called Chop Wood and Carry Water by Joshua Medcalf.
Slow down, hold on, take a breath.
All right, so jumping right into the book, Joshua Medcalf, he wrote this book about chop wood, carry water. And he said that falling in love with the process of becoming great, it requires work. And a lot of us will kind of stray from that topic because we want things to be so easy and smooth. And the reality is, for anything to work, you got to put some action in. You got to do some stuff. You got to go through some stuff in order to come through some stuff. So it's not just working. This is for, this book is for people that work with intent. Like whatever you're doing at whatever stage that you are at, you're doing it so you can move from that stage, to the next level towards greatness. And sometimes that process can be a very tedious. A lot of people can find it frustrating, and sometimes along the line they can give up. So what Joshua Medcalf is basically talking about, he's saying that life is not a bed of roses, and even if it was, then we would have to consider that those roses would have to come from somewhere, right? Which entails some level of work, either planting them, going out, cutting them, gathering them, putting them together, and creating that so-called bed of roses. It still requires a level of work. All right, so falling in love with the process of becoming great. You're going to go through a season of chopping wood and carrying water, which means you're gonna go through some, I don't know if anybody have ever had the experience of chopping wood. It takes effort, it takes focus, it takes patience. You know, there's some little lessons in just that basic skill of chopping a wood. Lessons in gathering the wood, lining up the wood, having the patience, you know, being focused to make sure that you're hitting that mark. There's some little lessons in it. And also carrying water. Well, I've carried a lot of water in my life. But when you think about the process of carrying water, you know that puts like a level of strain on your body. But you're not just doing it to say, I'm just going to carry some water to carry some water. You're doing it with intent. You're doing it because there is something that you need to fill. There's something that needs to be filled. And it requires a process of work. Doing it with intent, knowing that there is something coming on the other side. So this book is not for example, you have people that have been working at a company for 5 and 10 years, and every day they get up and they complain, and they probably hate their job to a certain degree, and they're just doing it, but there is no intention behind it, right? This book is for people that are going through some stuff, going through the process, maybe getting up every day, going to a work that they might not like that much, but there is a purpose behind it. They understand that they have to do this so they can go to school to earn an income, or they understand that they have to do this in order to create that project, or to save some money to go to level 2 or plan B. You know, they're doing what they're doing in that season with intent to move on to the next level. So this book is speaking about the process of becoming great requires a level of work. And sometimes if we are not patient and we are not aware we can give up in that season, and when we do, we lose out on those important lessons, right? So it's all about a season of planting, because when you think about it, really, to plant, it takes time. You have to clear the land, you have to do some plucking, some digging, some sowing, and it comes with a level of patience, knowing that things are not gonna come through at one time. It's going to be like a process. So there's also a process of patience involved. And you're not just dragging through, you're doing it with integrity. You're doing the work the right way. So the book even speaks further about, I'm just giving you guys some key points, people that have actually become great, people that own companies, people that own like multi-million dollar enterprises, entrepreneurs, that they have like a value system. And when he speaks on the value system, he gave like a perfect example of a value system. He said that you can create a product or a service knowing that it's faulty. And you can do two things. If you know that the product is faulty, you can either continue along that line because you put so many energy and effort in it and send it out where it's not a proper service or a product to people, and it may cause them harm, or you can do the right thing and retract and pull that back and work on your craft again. So he said people that create a value system is actually people that has integrity. If they're putting out something and it's not the best, they're gonna pull it back and they're gonna work on it because they want it to reflect them or reflect their service and what they provide, and knowing that they're giving their best and it's going to, come back that way, that product or that company rather stands for, integrity and good service or good value. So further and talk about great achievers are people that are persistent and resilient. And it's not so much about skill, but it's also about hard work, because you can be skilled. Anybody can be skilled. But if you don't put that time and energy and effort into mastering your craft, then, you might not elevate to that level of greatness. It requires putting in time, putting in work, putting in energy, mastering your craft with time and patience. I've also mentioned that failure is not something that we should see as like the end game, like I failed and that is it. He stated that failure is something that we learn from. We have to fail our way sometimes to success. We have to do something and sometimes it's not done the proper way, even though it's been done with intent. But with that intention failing, you should keep propelling, keep heading on to that same direction, knowing that whatever you're doing, it is for a higher purpose and it is to bring forth greatness. And with that said, you see that failure now as something that you can learn from and build from and keep pressing forward. He spoke about discouragement. Discouragement sometimes comes from different aspects. It will come from friends, it will come from family members, associates, or even sometimes the person that is closest to you. They're not going to be able to see your vision, and it can come in a form of discouraging you from that path. But if you hold true to something that's dear, then you'll know how to steer away from those form of discouragement and continue on that journey towards becoming great. So never underestimate the process. The process is essential. Action is essential. Hard work is essential. It is for your own learning and growing. So guys, that is the end of the program. I hope somebody learned something and I hope somebody found this topic interesting. And if you did, please guys go ahead and like and subscribe. That's what keeps the channel going and growing. Until next time, peace and love.
breath. If I could, I'll make me feel less. Something in my brain causes stress.